Good morning, church, and welcome to Lockdown Lift Up with Pastor Chris. You've got me for the week, and I literally just want to lift you up. And so this morning, a real quick message for you guys, and it's this, that with Jesus, crowds get fed and people walk on waters. Let's push aside all the things that irritate us for the moment, and let's look at the things that lift us up. Let's check this out. We're going to be looking at Matthew 14, 16 to 20. You got to remember that there's a massive crowd and they've come to hear Jesus and to be healed. And the disciples are looking at them and they're saying, there's no way we can feed them all. And so Jesus replied, they do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they answered. Bring them here to me, he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Here's my first point this morning. The crowd who was with Jesus got fed. They had gone a long way away from their places, their homes, to hear and receive from Jesus. If you're somebody who's gone to a remote place, you're in a remote position in life because you're following Jesus, you're away from your friends or you're in hard circumstances, trust me, those who come to Jesus get fed. The second point here is he didn't need lots to feed thousands. He only needed 5 to feed thousands. So don't look at your current circumstance and the limitations of your current circumstance to assess if you'll be provided for or not, because it's not the case with Jesus. He has an unlimited supply. Third point, there was a group that went even further with Jesus than just hearing him speak. You know, I'm talking about the disciples. They went into a storm because Jesus sent them in a boat. They followed his instructions and they found themselves in a storm, right? And in the midst of the storm, for those who followed Jesus, came to him not just to hear, but followed his instructions and lived in close relationship with him, they ended up seeing that Jesus could speak to the wind and the waves and it obeys. The revelation of Jesus was far greater than the crowds, right? And one of them even walked on water. Can I just tell you right now, for Jesus to walk on water is one thing, because he's God. But Peter was as human as you and I. He physically walked on water. This is the place that Jesus wants us to be in. That if we follow him, more than just the crowd coming to hear, but if you follow him, you can walk on water even in the midst of a storm. That's got to lift you up this morning, church. Do you feel lifted up? If you're with Jesus, you can walk on water physically. If he needs you to, it can happen. All right, whatever you're meant to be going through in life at the moment, you can reign in that place with Jesus Christ. He feeds crowds and people can walk on water with Jesus. Bless you. See you later.